Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer and Leo King, and welcome to my show, High Vibe TV, where we address the negative but want to embrace the positive. Thanks so much for being here with me today on this Monday, which is March the 5th of 2018. Now, thank you so much for sharing the show. I truly appreciate it. Last week was our first week, and I'm very happy with the results. Lots of people are loving the show. Lots of people are spreading that positive energy. And the number one point of this show is to not only just, find ways to have tools to make your life more positive, but to just be positive. It's interesting being up here and being a host and doing the show. I'm all about helping and bringing help to the world, but I didn't even realize how much it helps in my own life, right? So thank you so much for always sharing these videos and getting them out there. So we start every day with my daily thought. And my daily thought today is about self-reliance and the positives of knowing that you can create the world you want. Sometimes we get caught up in situations where we rely on another person or another source or money or something to get something done, which can really harm us, I feel. It's not that, self-reliance is some sort of ego thing. It's just making sure that every option in your life, that you always have the ability to take the route where I can do this myself. Because when we get caught up in positions in our life where it's like, well, I can only do this if blank makes it happen. I can only get there if blank comes through. Now, granted, there's a lot of things in life to where we do have to rely on other people for them to open up that door and so forth. But you always need to have an option where it's like, listen, if this doesn't work, I know I can find my route this way. And I think that this is so important because if it doesn't work out, if somebody in our life isn't able to come through, or if that investor can't come through, or whatever outside resource isn't going to be able to be there for you, what are you going to do? I think that a lot of us get caught up into, well, I'm just relying everything on this and I'm trusting God that God's going to bring it that way. Now, I'm a big advocate of God on this channel, and I believe that we have to rely on God for a lot of things. But I think that it's very important to also realize that reliance on God isn't that God's just going to create magic for you with that one person, with that one situation, with that one amount of money that you need or whatever. It's just going to happen. It's not like just some magical wish is just going to just come true in life and just show up for you. I think that it's super important for you to realize if this doesn't happen, if I'm not able to get what I want in this way, I need to find a way that I have my own route, God and I have a route, and I trust that God will open the doors for me, but I'm not relying on other people, I'm not relying on this route. So it's important to always have multiple routes in your life, wherever your goal might be. If your goal is to start a business, well, okay, there's the investor route. Maybe there's getting a loan from a bank. Maybe there's, okay, I'll work hard for the next 6 months and save the money. Always having all these different options, so if one doesn't work out and the one that you really want doesn't work out, because trust me, we all have that one route where it's like easier, faster, the bomb, right? If that doesn't work out, it doesn't mean you still can't get there. Achieving a goal in life takes patience. And when we don't get it exactly the way we want to, it could frustrate us. And when we're in a place of frustration and when we're not in a place that feels good, how are we going to manifest anything great in our lives? We can't. We have to be in a positive place. We have to be in a place that brings us more hope, more happiness in our life. And we can't do that if so-and-so or whatever outside resource can't work out. And I know that's a hard one to learn, it's not the easiest one because we seem to feel that we need this to happen and we need this to come through. And we start coming into a place of need instead of what is it's not like it's necessary. We could actually become overly obsessed with it has to come through, and it has to look this way. And whenever you start doing that, you'll start to notice you start tumbleweeding down into fear, anxieties, questioning your life, and everything starts coming into stressful aspects. Now, this is where I go to my story of the day. Now, going to today's story of the day, it actually has a lot to do. I had those stupid coconut biscuits again, and my mouth's all dry. The story of today is all about connecting with this daily thought. And personally, I learned the lesson of needing to be more reliant on knowing how to conquest and conquer things on my own and not expecting it to happen through other people in the hardest way. So, long story short, I personally have always been in this TV arena, media business since 2004 when I got on my first reality show when I was 20 years old on MTV. And it really struck out to me. Being a reality personality, being in reality TV, it was like everything that I ever wanted in my life. So I continued to follow it. But what happened was I got caught into the typical Hollywood story, which is when I get an agent, when I get the first big movie or the next big show, it's gonna change everything. So in 2010, I had just filmed True Beauty on ABC in Las Vegas. And we had to wait about 8 months for it to air. So what did I do during that 8 months? Oh, well, this show's gonna change my life. It's gonna make me famous. It's gonna give me everything I want in my life. So I'm not gonna do shit. I'm just gonna wait for it to all happen for me. I'm just relying on this show to change my life. So during that 8 months, there wasn't a lot that going on, right? The show's not airing. They're not doing promotion. So there I was, just like, well, life doesn't matter because this show's bigger than anything I could. And I remember sitting there and wasting 8 months of my life waiting for a show. Every day just barely making it through, barely scraping enough money. I was at Coinstar like every other week, you know what I mean? Like collecting change, doing whatever I could to make it through. And it was this, oh, I'm relying on this show. I'm relying on this show. I'm relying on this show. So finally, May 31st, 2010 comes when the show airs, and I'm like ecstatic now. I'm like, okay, this show's coming on. The commercials came up a week before, so there was a lot of hype, a lot of people calling me like, yeah, man, you're gonna be on this reality show. Oh yeah, cool, cool, cool. So there I was, totally believing that I knew I was right? The show's gonna change my life. It's gonna do everything. The show airs for 8 weeks, right? We get really good reviews. I'm starting to do parties. I'm starting to get booked DJing at places. I'm thinking my life is just coming together. I get some of the biggest gigs in my life, start doing red carpet events. I'm like, I knew I was right the whole time. I relied on this show and it's showing up and it's doing it for me. Well, when the show stopped airing at the beginning of July, it brought us to a point to where we all kind of on the show were like, okay, well, what's next? And the bummer about it all was I was just sitting there expecting some agent to show up, which I did hire an agent, and the agent didn't do anything for me. And then I said, well, maybe I just need to move to Hollywood. I already have the personality. I'll just move to LA and that'll happen. Well, guess what? I moved to LA and nothing happened. Got an agent and they send you on a couple auditions and you go to the auditions, and now I'm relying on the audition and relying on myself, and then that doesn't work out. I had no plan A of, if these all things don't work out, how do I reach my goal? And then I wasted another like 2 years, literally almost, it was like a year and a half, expecting an agent to book me or expecting somebody to come and save my day and give me a gig, or that my personality by itself just was going to automatically do things. I had to actually realize I had to create videos on my own. And that's actually what created the Leo King, was realizing that I have to do this shit on my own. I can't just rely on the whole world to make my dream happen. I just can't rely on everything to come together, just even though I pray for it and ask for it. Like, God wants us to move forward into things, use our power, use our action. We have to take action in life, and we have to know a route and how to get there on our own. And so I think that's extremely important, because that story taught me, you know what? I had to go outside and I felt so it was like the worst feeling in the world, being on the riverbed in Sherman Oaks, where I would pull out my laptop and I started doing horoscopes online. And I was doing it on YouTube, and it was like hard, because there I was, I'd given everything for the last like 2.5, 3 years to be this TV personality. And sure, I got on TV and I got it all, but it didn't give me jack diddly squat. And you know, on a personal note, if you don't know, people in Hollywood really don't make that much money. There's like a 1% in Hollywood that even makes money. People who are on TV shows that you watch every day and everything, you're not rich. You don't become some rich movie star just because you're in a movie. There's something called the SAG rate, and you're even lucky if you get that. And that rate is like about $800 a day, but people don't realize that the rates for that usually are only 2 to 3 weeks. And then you gotta wait till your next big gig. And sure, you might think in your head, oh, that's a lot of money. But that might be all your money for the whole year. And so really, you know, it taught me to do things on my own, to find how to reach my goals on my own. And sure, if other people come through and other people come through, that's just a bonus in my life. That's the icing on the cake. When I'm able to have that reliance on other people, that becomes an icing on the cake. So I know it might sound very kind of like, you know, self-absorbed, but the truth is if you're able to find your own power, find a way to get on your goals by yourself and not rely on every other option or rely on all these things or wait for other things to happen and then things will happen, you also want to look at the time you're wasting in your life in between waiting, right? It's like, oh yeah, once this person comes through with this investment, then my life's going to change and everything's going to be great. You're just wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're like literally wasting your life. Because what if you die tomorrow? What happens? So I think the story and the daily thought, this one was really struck a chord with me because I wouldn't be here today even doing this show. You know, I didn't wait on something to happen. I literally showed up and did this thing and made it happen. And you can't wait and rely on other people. And this is my pump up section where I'm here to pump you up, make you feel better about life and how to pump things up. And how do you pump yourself up for self-reliance? I think number one, that you need to realize that you're the shit. You have so many skills, you have so many abundant aspects that are surrounding you. So I think that it's important for you to look around and start to go, you know what? I have this in my life. I have a computer. I have a whiteboard. I have these things in my life that could make something happen. But with a computer today, you can do anything. I made this whole entire life happen with a freaking computer. I mean, for real. Sure, I've been very lucky now to have a studio and have cameras and have people running the show behind me now. But you know what? After a long time of doing it on my own, it finally brought me to this place to where I could do that. And it started with a laptop. There was even also a time in my life, and I want to pump you up, is that I remember I needed money and I wanted to do it, and I went to Venice Beach on the Venice boardwalk and I sat there and I built a sign and it said astrology readings and get one from me and as seen on TV. And you know what? People came to me and it gave me enough money to get the gas there and back, to get food and everything. But I showed up and I went to CVS and I bought cardboard paper and old school glitter like I was back in 3rd grade, and I made it happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a world to where we can't make things happen. It's all right in front of you. Like, we seem to think like, oh my gosh, like we can't do it. You can do it. You have the ability right in front of you. It doesn't cost a bunch of money. The materials, the life, everything is right in front of you. It's amazing what we can do today more than ever. You need to realize that more than ever, on this day, March 5th, 2018, more aspects and things around you to build something are around you than they ever have in history before. And doesn't matter where you're at on the pay scale, doesn't matter where you're at, there is a way. You know, maybe your pack of cigarettes can wait for a day and it buys that cardboard to make that thing happen. Maybe buying your 12 cans of Sprite, right? That's like something that I have. That $5 right there can do something. It's about learning that, you know what, sometimes you have to sacrifice some parts that you really, obsess over. And what do you want more in your life? Do you want something greater in your life? Sometimes you have to let go of something for a little bit in order to get it greater. And I think that's so important, and you have the power to do it. Now, don't miss me every day, because every day I do a horoscope on futurelife.tv and the app, and we also got a lot of other great practitioners on there. Of course, we're doing health and wellness, we're doing tarot cards, and we're doing lifestyle. It's so awesome. You're not going to want to miss it. Love and relationship advice, too. Make sure you check it out, futurelife.tv, and we'll come back for you right after this break. Hi, Grandma. How are you? Oh, I'm doing good. No, I'm eating really healthy right now in my life. Lots and lots of vegetables, yeah. And potatoes too, they're vegetables, aren't they? Yeah, no, I'm eating healthy. I feel really good. Yeah, I'm in shape too. Oh, my relationship, Grandma? Oh, it's going great. We're really connected right now. No, I mean, the love's there. She's no, lots of attention. We really have really interesting conversations too. No, yeah, don't worry about me, Grandma. It's going good. Oh, my dreams. You know, you don't have to worry about my dreams. They're always coming true. Yeah, financially, everything's going good. I've got everything I want, the job I want. Yeah, everything's going good there. Future life? What's that, Grandma? I know, I'll follow your advice. What is it? It's a new app? I'll check it out. Future life.
Future life. Wake up to your future like you've never seen before.
Welcome back to High Vibe TV. I'm your host, David Palmer, the Leo King, and thanks so much for being here with me as we embrace the positive. Super happy to have you here. And this is where I do my challenge of the day section. And what is the challenge? Learning to take on heavy emotion. You know, sometimes like life just barrels us down, right? It just like, it could feel like we can feel everything. That's the thing is sometimes, you know, we could just like coast through life and, oh man, my feelings are good and everything, and our moods swing. It doesn't matter if you have a mood disorder or not, trust me, moods swing. And sometimes we could just feel like we're heavy and we're going through a lot. And what we do is we try to avoid those feelings, right? We try to mask it through doing it through drugs, or masking it through doing it through some sort of addiction of ours, or even going outside of addictions and just, you know, avoiding the emotion, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to come home and deal with that conversation today, or I'm not going to go to work because I know there's some turmoil there and I created a mess and I don't want to do that. Like, you have to learn to embrace every heavy feeling. Some of the heaviest feelings in the world are always things like things like change, things like losing things, you know, because this isn't that's life. And I think that, you know, we have things that make us help release in life. And if we don't accept life for what it is, if we don't accept negative feelings or hard emotions in our life, and we try to avoid them, it gets worse. We start tumbleweeding and we actually increase what's going on. It's kind of like I don't know why I'm getting this, but it's a little bit kind of like a mosquito bite that we just like, you know, that keeps getting worse, and we're actually it'd even be worse. It'd be like a spider bite, right? If you got bit by a spider and it started getting red and started getting black, what would you do? You'd go to the doctor, right? But you know, we're the kind of people in the kind of the world where it's like, no, I'm going to avoid the doctor. I don't want to deal with the doctor. I don't want to go through any of the crap. I'm just going to like, I hope it'll just heal itself. So the whole challenge is, do you really put yourself in a position to where you try and heal yourself? Where you just believe that everything will work out, everything will be fixed? Sometimes, you know, that's not the way that heavy emotion works. We have to face it. We have to deal with it. We have to actually cry it out. We have to actually, you know, get angry sometimes. Sometimes we have to get frustrated. We have to let that frustration out. Trust me, people don't like me in my life because I'm very like, when the emotion comes, I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm not going to like want to deal with this later. I'm just going to let it out now. You know, and so sometimes it affects other people. And then I have to apologize to those people because, you know, but I'd rather apologize for being myself and for being my authentic emotion instead of being the person who, you know, oh man, I didn't deal with it for the last 3 years and now you're going to have to help me and pull me out of some really gnarly situation and I'm in a crack house or something and now you got to pull me and put me into rehab. It's like, I would hate to put my lovers, family, or friends in positions like that. Never again would I ever want to do that. Sometimes it's better to deal with the emotion and express the emotion, and then if it's sometimes a little too hot and heavy, or it's sometimes a little bit too hard to deal with, or sometimes if you're sitting there crying and you use all the tissue paper of the person at their house, you know, go buy them a new tissue paper, apologize to them. If you get a little frustrated and you're a little cranky that day, you know, the next day apologize to them. It's okay. At least you are letting your feelings out. We live in a world where we are just suppressing our feelings so much, and then we're living through them day to day to day, and they're just stuck in there and they keep growing, just like the spider bite. And then it starts to get black and worse and gross and, oh my gosh. And then it starts to pus. And then when it starts to push, you don't know, you're basically at full infection zone. And you got to look at emotions like that. We can go through emotional infections because we don't deal with our feelings. We don't want to embrace them. We don't want to feel them, And the best thing we can do about feelings is to feel them. That's why they're called feelings. They ain't called feelings for just not feeling. And there's amazing feelings. You know what happens is when we get addicted to not feeling the bad things, we then become the same addicted to not feeling good things. That's right. That's how the universe works. You just can't be like, I'm only going to feel the good emotions in life, right? Because we are born with feelings, and it's a natural part of ourselves to either feel it or not. It doesn't matter if it's a positive feeling or a negative feeling or a mediocre or a neutral feeling. You have to learn to embrace all feelings. And when you're able to embrace all feelings, then you become a colorful, crazy character. But when you choose to not, you become a blank sheet of paper. And nobody really knows what you're feeling or how you are or who you are or what's going on. And this life is about becoming the character of what you are. And that feeling is the colors. There are lots of colors in the rainbows of feelings. Trust me on this one. There's black all the way to purple and pink, right? It's like in everything in between. That's why there's the rainbow. Literally, when there's the rainbow of all these colors, you got to look at it like emotion. The good thing about the rainbow is most of them are really positive in life. But sometimes negative stuff happens. Sometimes really hard emotions happen. And you know what happens is it's when those emotions all blend. And you need to realize that in order to make black, you need a lot of other colors, okay? And so you need to realize that there's some positive emotions in black and that you need to find those through the heavy, hard ones. Sometimes, when you're going through something really hard, you lost a job and you're broke, sometimes you just need a laugh. Sometimes you just need to go have a chat with a friend and cry it out and let it go and then build confidence through that. There's a lot of other emotions on top of negative emotions because black takes all these other colors. It does. And so if you're not able to see that, if you're not able to realize that every emotion that you're going through has a multiple band of colors, it's not like one size fits all for emotions, right? It's like, well, I'm just feeling horrible. It's like, well, why don't you break apart and see all the little emotions of why you feel horrible, and why don't you actually feel all those, and then maybe you realize, oh yeah, I don't even know why I'm going through that. It's like, I need to like just embrace it. Okay, I'm over, I'm through it, because we got to push through things in life. If we're unable to push through it, it's kind of like having a baby. Now I'm a dude, I'll never know how to push a baby out, trust me. Maybe I'm going to have to one day be there and like say push, but I'm never going to be the person that's spreading my legs open and pushing out a baby. Emotions are pushing out, okay? Pushing it out, pushing things out and letting them push out, even if they are positive. Because sometimes we can also suppress those happy feelings in life. Like, well, I don't want to feel happy. I feel guilty if I feel happy. Trust me, I know more clients of mine that feel guilty to feel happiness in their life. Like, well, I don't want to be with them anymore, but I'm just gonna do it because if I do that, it'll hurt them. What's going on? It's like, that's not how you really feel. Authenticity to your feeling is everything. And that is my challenge to you today. Not only to embrace it, but do you know how to embrace authentic feelings and communicate those authentic feelings all the way? Now, my closing thoughts today, I've got a lot of closing thoughts, okay? The best closing thought that I can come up with today is, number one, life has so many different things that you can do. There is no excuse to why you can't do what you want to do in your life. You can't blame it on emotions. You can't blame it on the investor didn't come through. I was waiting on that job and that company decided not to hire me. It's all these excuses that we have in our life that say, no, this is impossible because blank. I'm here to tell you that's the reason why you're failing in your life. You have to learn to embrace your own feelings, even if they're shitty, even if they're crappy. Push through them and find the positive ones and move towards those positive ones. Having goals in life is extremely important, but making sure that, whatever feelings come up during that goal doesn't take you off the goal. I come into this office and come here and do this show every morning, and I've been doing a daily video every day on Future Life TV, and then prior that was the Leo King app, and then prior to that it was on YouTube, and I still do a daily video, and I still do this as now a daily video. I do multiple daily videos a day for it's coming up 6 years on April 10th. 6 years! And you know what? Through that 6 years, I've had the crappiest feelings of my life and the best feelings of my life and the mediocre ones and whatever. And I have been on camera, and you all probably have no idea. Sometimes I'm in the worst space in the world. I have shown up on camera before, like just crying in my car the day before and that hour before, and in my office going, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to show up today and do that. And I'll even admit, on my way to work this morning, I was frustrated. I was just frustrated. I was like, I got a monumental amount of work this week. Oh my God, I'm going to do it. But you know what? I let the emotion out. I was on the freeway. I was just like, whatever. Showed up to work, started opening up the blinds, and I let the sun in, and I go, you know what? It's a new day. And that was what the other day was, talking about that every day is a new day. Sometimes it's okay to let your emotion out, but you know what? If you remember that every day is a new day, if you remember about all the positive and negative feelings, whatever that they might be, if you find a way to do that, you will make it through anything. There is no excuses. We need to start living in a world where we stop putting an excuse for everything. Oh, why didn't you do this? Oh, well, it's like just being like, I didn't want to do it. You don't have to give any more excuse than that. Learning to say no, learning to say yes to certain things because you want to, because it's authentic to you without feeling guilty. This is a world in which if you want to start to make your life better, if you want to start to achieve the goals that you want, guess what? It's going to start to take you stop making excuses, embracing your emotions, but more importantly, knowing what you want and not relying on some crazy outside resource to make it happen. And now I know that we expect God and we trust in God to make things happen, but God brings all the magic together. It's whether or not we choose to do something with it. Thanks so much for being a part of High Vibe TV. I truly appreciate it. I'd love a follow if you can on Facebook, because we're trying to build that up, and we'd love if you shared these videos and get them out. I also put them up on YouTube on the Leo King channel, so love it if you'd share them on there as well. Thank you so much for being here. Love being with you here every day, and make sure that you join us every day, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Leo King Network and High Vibe TV. Thanks so much for being here. Truly appreciate it. I'm sending you all my best energy today, and I will see you tomorrow.